to the CinemATL podcast for May 2018.
Barely.
We just made it. For those of you that haven't been with us before, the CinemATL podcast is a monthly podcast which examines the world of entertainment through the lens of local Atlanta filmmakers. That would be us, your hosts. This is
Martin Kelly.
Let me go first this time, and I am Michael D. Friedman.
Wow, that's very gracious of you.
Just in a giving mood this month. We're here to talk about movies and film and entertainment, everything that's going on in the local Atlanta scene.
Definitely, and beyond.
And beyond.
For sure.
To infinity.
So, every time, we always want you to share the podcast. We also want you to tweet us with your impressions of the podcast and also information. Give us information to give out to our listeners and viewers.
And you can tweet us at CinemATL, or you can hit us up individually. I'm at Badger33.
And I'm at Marte_real1.
And that's on Twitter and
IG.
The IG.
The IG.
The IG for Martin. We just want you to give us your feedback and tell us what you're working on. If you're working on something yourself,
definitely.
We'd like to be able to mention it to our listeners and our viewers. Please participate. Please
and then don't forget to comment on Facebook, Twitter, CinemATL.com. Also, subscribe if you haven't yet on iTunes or
subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher.
Or SoundCloud.
I'm just going to repeat everything you say.
Okay.
So let's get into what we're going to do this month. It's kind of the standard format that we have. We normally start out with some industry news, and we talk about what's going on here in Atlanta, what's being filmed here, and other things that are going on.
And then we do a top three. And this top three is usually related to the movie we're going to review. So this month's top three is top three Star Wars locations or environments.
Yes, which would make it obvious what we're going to review this month.
All right, give it away.
Which is Solo, a Star Wars story. Normally we do Star Wars specials when the Star Wars have been coming out in
December
time frame. But this we're gonna. This one isn't as special, so we're just going to put it into one of our regular programs.
Yes, regular. But, because it is Star Wars, I think, we tend to ramble a little bit. So there may not be time for a technique topic, so we're going to reserve that. We may or may not have a technique topic. Ordinarily we would, but maybe this time we won't.
And then finally, we always wrap it up with the movie game. And we'll see how competitive that is this time around.
I'm feeling good.
If you're feeling good, I'm not feeling good. So why don't we jump into some industry news? Just if you guys want to stick around, we also have a quick interview with Kenny Blank,
from the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival.
Yes, so we have some information from him about a project they're putting on.
Right, an event that they're doing as part of the festival.
And we'll get to that in the news. So let's jump into what's going on.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right, so
ordinarily industry news, we talk a little bit about movies that have been shot in Atlanta that are coming out soon, and then we talk about movies that are shooting now in Atlanta. So we'll kick it right off with a movie that's been getting a lot more, higher profile in the recent weeks, especially with I've seen a lot of ads on the NBA playoffs, and that's Superfly.
Yep. Superfly is coming to theaters on June 13th.
Yeah, and Director X is responsible for Superfly. And the soundtrack, actually, Atlanta connection as well. Future is sort of the executive producer on the soundtrack.
Yeah, so it's a very music video influence because Director X comes from that world. So it's very music heavy, very Atlanta heavy, actually. So.
And the one person I recognize from the trailer is Kenneth Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
the one person you realize.
Well, I recognize the other people. I recognize that I've seen them before, but I don't remember their names. But Kenneth Williams, of course, from The Wire fame, is definitely in the film.
Coming up that same week, actually, is Tag, which we've talked about before. It looks pretty funny. If you haven't seen the trailer for it, check it out. It's about a group of friends who play a 30-year game of tag.
Game of tag, yeah. It's
never ending.
A lot of funny folks in it, and then Yeah, it looks like it could be cool.
And then the next big Marvel movie, also shot in Atlanta, comes out on July 6th, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Marvel movie?
Yeah, that little studio.
Oh. Okay.
They always seem to be filming something going on.
They're definitely. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I've seen a couple of new trailers for it, and it looks pretty interesting too.
We'll have to see how it ties into Infinity War.
Yeah, this is a quick aside, is this after the events of Infinity War, or is it before?
From what I've heard, just based on rumors, it's before.
Oh, okay.
But it ties in, apparently. So I don't want to give away any spoilers, but anything. If you haven't seen Infinity War, why haven't you?
Yeah, who hasn't?
And then one thing I forgot to add in here was that Venom is also coming out, another Marvel property. Not a Marvel Studios production, but a Marvel.
Right.
That's coming out in October. It's a little bit farther down the road.
So we'll end up talking about that.
I just wanted to mention it because I saw that they released a new trailer maybe a week ago, and it doesn't look very good. So I'm hoping for better things from it.
Well, it's got a really good cast. Yeah, I mean, Tom Hardy, Michelle Williams. I mean, and I've heard some other people who weren't in the trailer are in it. So who knows?
We'll see. On the TV side of things, the OWN network, the former Oprah Winfrey network, the current Oprah Winfrey network. The former one is the Oxygen network. The current Oprah Winfrey network. There's a new show called Love Is Blank, which is really hard to Google if you're trying to Google it, because it's Love Is actual blank. So
everything else is Love Is, and you find something else.
So that was shot here, and that's going to be coming out on June 19th on OWN, so look for that.
Yeah. And then HBO movie called Sharp Objects.
It's actually a miniseries.
Right, it's a limited series, right? They call it a limited series with Amy Adams and Patricia Clarkson.
Yeah.
Based on a book from Gillian Flynn, right?
Sharp Objects is the name. I don't know if you mentioned that, but Gillian Flynn, who did Gone Girl. Mm-hmm. So it looks pretty intriguing. So that's going to be on HBO, and I didn't write down the date for that, but I believe it's coming out pretty soon in June. I think the end of June, I think it's coming out.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it's definitely it's in the rotation of HBO promos for sure.
All right, so that's what's
coming out, right?
Yes.
And so some of the films that are being shot here, recently or right now as we speak, we'll talk about those. Like one film in particular is called Boss Level with Mel Gibson and Frank Grillo and Naomi Watts, retired special forces officer, gets trapped in a loop and keeps repeating the same day a la Groundhog Day and Before I Fall, actually, which is a recent movie I saw.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Or Edge of Tomorrow, yeah.
Which is, it really seems very Edge of Tomorrow-y to me, especially with the title of Boss Level. It seems like this guy's. I don't know if it has any relationship to video games or not, but it
sounds like it. It really does.
It's like he's having to fight the boss until he wins, type thing.
Yeah, this is a Emmett Furler production. They've done quite a few lately, actually.
Well, Edge of Tomorrow is one of my favorite movies, so they've got a lot to try to compete against for me,
right.
for my movie-going dollar. Another film that's coming out, actually there's some post-production now, it's called Only, and this one actually stars Chandler Riggs, local Atlanta actor who was on The Walking Dead for many years.
Definitely.
As Coral. Coral. If you watch The Walking Dead, you know what I'm talking about. This one is about a virus that's killed off all the world's women except for, I guess, one, and I guess he's in a relationship with the last female on Earth. Sounds kind of like there's a comic book out there called Y, the Last Man, so it's the opposite, where all the men get killed off and there's only one man left.
I mean, and a little reminiscent of Children of Men. Yeah, which, in a way. In
everybody
a
under
small way.
an age died, but or over, nobody was born.
Right.
Right. But it seems it's an interesting concept. And why The Last Man has been a concept that's been trying to get off the ground as either a TV show or a movie for quite a while, and it hasn't. So this looks like it might beat them to the punch. And then some TV things that are going on here. One thing I wanted to mention is there was a pilot that was shot here called The Passage, which got picked up by Fox, which which I've actually saw the pilot for, and it's actually pretty good.
Oh, cool.
It actually stars. I keep saying actually, but it stars Mark Paul Gosselaar.
But if it actually stars him, it's not a problem.
It sounds like I'm surprised. It was actually picked up by Fox. It was actually, but Mark Paul Gosselaar, who you might know as Zach from
Saved by the Bell,
which I'm sure he loves being forever tied to.
What was that lawyer show though?
I don't know.
I kind of like that one.
But he stars in it, and it's it's about a virus that gets out. It's kind of a zombie type.
Is this a theme? You know, a virus kills all the women, and then now
about zombies.
Now the Passage has got another virus thing going.
I mean, if you want to go on the zombie thing, there's some news about The Walking Dead as well.
Oh yeah.
And actually, it was just announced today that Andrew Lincoln will not be returning after season 9.
Oh, okay. Hold on. So, Andrew Lincoln, the star of the show, Rick,
yes,
right?
Rick Grimes is.
He's not going to be there,
and he's only committed to doing 6 episodes next season.
So are they going to kill him off?
I don't know. It seems kind of. I mean, that's kind of the way things go on Walking Dead usually, but it does seem kind of unusual.
Rick, in the comics, is Rick one of the survivors of the comics?
Well, I don't want to give anything away. Spoilers or alerts, but
okay.
You know, I mean, the things are different from the comics and the TV show.
Okay.
And spoiler alert: if you know why Chandler Riggs is doing a movie, you know what happened to his character in The Walking Dead. That's different from the comic book. So to kill off Rick Grimes as well would be complete. They're going to have to go in a completely different direction of the comic book. So maybe he rides off into the sunset with a happy ending. We don't know.
Right.
But it's interesting because Lauren Cohan, who plays Maggie in Walking Dead, is also leaving. She's only committed to doing 6 episodes as well.
Wow.
For Walking Dead. And she's going to be in a show called Whiskey Cavalier coming to ABC.
What is that?
Which is
about?
It's a spy. It's a comedic comedy spy thriller with Scott Foley in it.
Okay.
I actually saw the pilot for that too, and it's actually pretty good.
Oh, wow. Were you at the upfronts or something?
I was in LA recently.
Oh, man.
So yeah,
insider folks.
Inside information here. So yeah, that's the stuff that some stuff's coming up. And then I wanted to also mention that a lot of stuff got renewed for second or third or fourth seasons. There's still filming in Atlanta. We got Dynasty, Black Lightning, Star, The Resident, The Gifted, MacGyver, and Good Girls have all got renewed.
Wow.
I'm sure I'm missing some too. Those are just the ones that I pointed out off the top of my head. And then the big series, those are the network series that got renewed.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest Atlanta series right now is Stranger Things.
Yeah, the audience favorite probably.
Yeah, so that's currently filming.
Of season 3?
Season 3, and it's funny, they've actually converted one entire wing of the Gwinnett Place Mall into an old 80s mall.
Nice.
So it's got like Radio Shack, Sam Goody, Chess King, all that stuff is in there.
Can we go to that?
I don't know.
Because Chess King used to be the spot.
The funny thing is that's probably the most action that mall's got in the last 5 years. So.
Down in the mall.
I went there one time. Like one day when I was home with my kid. This is like a couple years ago when my kid was still in the stroller. I took him out just to go somewhere one day because I was off work and trying to keep him entertained. So I haven't been to Gwinnett Place Ball for a while, and I was like, this is the Mall of the Damned. There's
the last time I was there, I don't even know how long that was. It was probably at least 2 years back.
It's a scary mall.
It was.
There's nothing there anymore. I mean, I don't know if you've heard the story about they found a dead body in the food court.
No, I did not.
At that mall.
Wow.
They had been there for like a month without anybody noticing it. That's how.
Oh my gosh.
That's how dead that mall is. That's how sparse that mall is. It's crazy. So.
Man, wow, that's crazy.
So good for Stranger Things for revitalizing the economy.
Yeah, for a little bit at least. For a little while.
So that's it for what's filming.
Yeah, and that's a lot filming if you notice. And so if if you're interested in being part of any of those productions and and more, you probably want to check out the Help Wanted line at Georgia.org because they often have opportunities for people to get become involved with productions.
Yep, check it out.
So, in other news, in Atlanta, we have a special guest actually going to join, Kenny Blank from the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival. He's going to talk about an event they're putting on called Cinna Bash.
Yeah.
And we're happy to talk about all the film events in town. So we're happy to have Kenny on the show to talk about it. So. I guess, Kenny, we're going to ask you first, what is Cinna Bash?
Yeah, tell us all about it.
So what exactly is Cinna Bash? Well, it's a party, but it's not just any party, it's a film party, and it's an experience unlike anything Atlanta has ever seen before. For the first time at the Atlanta Contemporary, we're going to be bringing together movies, food, music, art installations. When you come to Cinebash, you'll be stepping into the world of movies, immersing yourself into imaginative spaces with light and color and movement. And of course, everything you'd expect at a great party, including signature drinks, photo ops, giveaways, swag, and great food from Atlanta's top restaurants, compliments of Taste of Atlanta. It's all going to be wildly imaginative and, again, something truly unique.
Well, that sounds good. I'd like to get some of that tasty food.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm feeling a little bit hungry right now. But Kenny, if you can tell us a little bit more about, I understand that the whole Cinebash is going to be revolving around the work of Saul Bass, who's very influential in the movie industry, but he's also kind of a name that
people might not recognize.
Yeah. So can you explain to us a little bit about Saul Bass and why you picked him to be, representative of your event?
This year's Cinebash pays tribute to the iconic graphic designer Saul Bass. The whole evening will be themed around his work. Now, you may not know who Saul Bass is by name, but you definitely have seen his work before. He's done the movie posters for such films as The Shining, West Side Story. His title sequences for Alfred Hitchcock's films are famous, Vertigo and Psycho. He's an Academy Award-winning filmmaker, and he's even done a number of corporate logos that you'd recognize. And we're going to have fun with Saul Bass, taking his design inspirations and using them to theme up this party. He's a film artist that has definitely left his mark. And Cinebash is a way for us to recognize those underappreciated artists who may not be household names, but have certainly left their mark on the industry. And it's a way for a film festival to celebrate the movie arts in a way that's unique and unexpected.
Yeah, that sounds really great.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited to see how you guys integrate his work into your celebration.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's he's done some iconic work for sure.
So Kenny, can you tell us, give us some details? How can people get involved in this, and when's it happening? And give us
all the gory details.
You are invited to Cinebash. We hope you can join us. The date is Saturday, June 23rd. The party goes from 7 o'clock to midnight, and it's all happening at the Atlanta Contemporary. It's $35 in advance or $40 at the door. For those looking to upgrade their experience, we're offering a special VIP Cinebash preview on Thursday, June 7th at 7 o'clock at Atlanta Stoveworks. We've got a pop-up dining experience from High Roller Sushi and some special guest appearances. For more information or to order tickets, visit us at cinebash.org.
Well, that sounds great. Yeah, Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll make sure to put the information about how you guys can get your website and everything on our YouTube page and on SoundCloud, just so people can find out more information.
And good luck with Cinebash. It sounds like a really fun event.
All right. Well, continuing on with events that are going on in Atlanta, the annual event that's coming around again this June is the 48-Hour Film Project.
48-Hour Film Project.
So this is a project where you, as the name implies, you make a film in 48 hours. It's a lot of fun if you haven't done it before. I do highly recommend at least doing it once in your life.
Definitely.
I've participated in it many times over the years. It's just a lot of fun. They give you draw a genre out of a hat, and then every team has to use the same character, prop, and line of dialogue within their film. So it's a lot of fun seeing how other teams build their stories based around those elements.
Figuring out how to take those elements and build your own short film out of it. It's very cool.
So that's being held the weekend of June 29th through July 1st. The actual filming will take place that weekend, and the screenings will be actually on July 10th and 11th at the Landmark Theater. So if you're interested, go to 48hourfilm.com/Atlanta to learn more about our city screenings and to register. And you can also, the registration early bird registration ends June 4th. So if you want to get on that, hurry up and do it. You'll save yourself some cash. The regular deadline's on June 19th, and they will be taking submissions for late deadline all the way up to the day of the drawing. And if you want to be involved with the team, I recommend, they've got ways on that site of if you want to just join. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes they have. I think they'll do it again. They'll have live meetings where you can actually network and meet people and find teams to join if you don't want to form your own team. Cool. But if you're ambitious, I recommend forming your own team and just doing it with as many people as you can get to join you. Definitely. I've done it with one person on a team. I've done it with like 25 people on a team. Exactly. So it really depends, and it's what you make of it. And I would just like to recommend that people that do it fairly. Take it for what it is. It's supposed to be a fun experiment.
It's supposed to be fun, so don't take it so seriously. The best fun that we have is actually, like when we've done it together, has been trying to figure out
how to make those things integral into the plot instead of having a script already written, which is against the rules, by the way.
Yeah, which has happened.
And it has happened. So, unfortunately, there are some people out there that just want to win. I recommend doing it for fun.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, check it out.
So I guess that's pretty much all the industry news.
Yeah.
And so we'll be getting into our...
Time for some Star Wars.
No, our top 3, right?
Top 3.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about Star Wars.
Got it.
Top 3 is the first part of it.
Got it.
All right. So, top 3 Star Wars locations.
Or environments, right?
Or environments.
Whatever you want to call it.
Places within the Star Wars universe.
Within the Star Wars cinematic universe, right?
So, yeah, well, unless you want to go with the Christmas...
I don't watch the animated series, could have some places.
We're talking about cinematic.
Okay, Star Wars. Got it.
Cinematic locations.
So, top 3.
Why don't we start at the bottom? We'll just name our top 3 and go up. So... What's your number 3?
My number 3 is old reliable Tatooine.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to discuss these, so we'll talk about that in a second. My number 3 is Endor.
Oh,
Believe it or not. We'll get into that later.
All right.
Number 2?
Number 2 is Coruscant.
Okay. My number 2 is Jakku.
Oh, okay.
All right. And then, so number 1 is, drumroll,
the Death Star.
I thought about the Death Star, but I thought about it too late after I already made my list. But my number 1 is Tatooine.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We have one
in common, which we didn't think we were going to have.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Tatooine. The reason, and I guess, if you're listening and watching this, it's still at this point, you're a Star Wars fan, so I don't think I need to explain too much about where these environments are. But Tatooine, to me, is the best because it sets the palette.
Sure.
For the entire Star Wars mythos. So especially the Mos Eisley Cantina, where you get to see all the aliens and droids, and we get to see...
Well, it was the home to 3 of the most important people in the saga when we first see them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was maybe not the home, but at least is where we found them all, right?
Yeah.
Luke, Obi-Wan, Han Solo, Chewbacca, right? So, it has to be...
If you go back to the prequels, that's where Anakin, Darth Vader, comes from.
I'm not even talking about the prequels, but you're right. Yes. But
talking about it simply as a location or as an environment,
right.
I do think of it more as the Star Wars New Hope environment than any other times we've
But, that's valid, too, because, Anakin was living on Tatooine.
Well, it also seems to be the nexus of everything in the Star Wars universe, because even in Solo they mention Tatooine,
right?
Right,
so exactly.
It's funny because this is supposed to be some remote desert planet, but yet it seems to be very integral into
that's how it's described, but yet it's the big hub of activity. It's like the center of. Like Luke even says, if there's a bright center of the universe, is the place it's farthest from, but not actually. It's actually the center of the Star Wars universe.
Pretty much. So that kind of leads me into. Well, my number 2, I chose Jakku because it's very similar to that Tatooine environment, and it once again it's setting the tone for the new trilogy.
Sure.
So for those that might not be familiar with Jakku is the name, that's where we find Rey in the Force Awakens, and the Millennium Falcon's there.
Right.
Just a lot of stuff happens on there, and one of the reasons I like it so much, though, is it's different from Tatooine. Is I love the visuals of all the starship destroyers, the wreckage, the battles that are taken there. It definitely feels war torn, and it definitely feels like a realistic part of this universe that you don't see. You don't see the aftermath of all these big spaceships flying. That's what's really cool about that to me.
No, definitely. I mean, I think that's that. Is like Tatooine on steroids visually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of similar, geographic.
Yeah, it's very desert planet.
Right. But you're right. Seeing all the ships, the down ships and everything was great.
In fact, the desert environment to me is it's a very stark visual that I think really works well in the Star Wars movies. I don't know why, but it just does to me. Even in Rogue One, when they're on, I can't remember the name of the planet, but the Jedi home, that was very desert planet, and that had some cool elements with the big, tipped over monuments and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. And then even in Solo, there's the big scene at the end takes place at a beach and
it is an iconic Star Wars type of environment for sure.
But it's okay for you. Your number. Well, we didn't talk about number 1, Darth.
Let's talk about number 2. My number 2 was Coruscant. I've just always liked Coruscant. It's like if you know, this is like the only prequel, prequel location I chose. I really love. That's like one of the things that I won't down about the prequels is the Coruscant location and the way it looked was. I mean, this is just based on the way it looked, not. I think it's important location for that series, but I just like the way it looked. I was very enamored with, how it looked on screen. And
the big city.
Yeah, the big.
It's like basically a massive city.
Planet. Yeah, exactly. The whole planet was a city.
Which technically it did appear before the prequels because it was in the special edition.
Yeah, so. And it looked good in the special edition, which is. You can't really say a lot about stuff that was added to the special edition.
I think it might actually look better in the special edition than the prequel trilogy because I think it looks a little too clean in the prequel trilogy to me.
I agree completely.
But yeah, I mean, I do like that idea of like a planet being like a massive city unto itself.
And it was really well designed. So I that's just for me.
So so then we go to we can either go talk about your number 1 or my number 3.
Let's talk about your number 3.
So Endor, it might not be a favorite. I think Endor gets a knock from people because of the Ewoks.
Yes.
But first of all, I don't mind the Ewoks. I am unapologetically a fan of the Ewoks.
Okay.
But even if you don't like the Ewoks, I think the visuals on Endor, especially when they're doing the racing scenes through the trees, there's massive trees and that environment. It's very green and lush, and it's very something that you didn't see in any of the Star Wars movies before that.
Exactly.
And so, I don't know. I just like the idea of these massive like redwood forest trees dominating the planet, and then the whole Ewoks having their things up in their cities up in
that was what I did like about it. It was actually I think Peter Jackson sort of took notes on that for the Elven city from Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings. It was very similar in a way.
So I like that, and Ewoks be damned. I like the environment.
Yeah. No. I mean, it's not a bad location. It's just not on my top 3. That's all. And so my number 1, of course, is the Death Star, and again, it's more of an importance type thing. There was actually 2 Death Stars.
Yeah.
I think.
So which Death Star?
The first one. It has to be the first one.
I don't know. There's something about the second one that just looks cool.
Second one looked really good.
Yeah, when they're
second one looked really good.
The detail on that when they're it's still under construction Death Star is pretty awesome.
It was dope, but first you got to hand it to the first Death Star because that set the tone for how good this sci-fi was going to be.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. The New Hope.
It sets the tone for the entire series, especially. When you consider, in Empire, there's the second one, or in Jedi, and there's the second one. I mean, and then in Force Awakens, there's the Starkiller base, which is basically the.
It's way bigger.
Well, I mean, that's inside a planet, but kind of thing. But I almost actually chose the Starkiller base as one of my.
Oh, really?
Because I did like the wintry environment.
It was nice.
And the battle sequences and that.
I agree. But. Just for even if you didn't like the interiors of the original Death Star, the trench fighting of the first Star Wars movie, that was iconic.
Well, the interiors actually lend itself to the entire Imperial template that they have throughout all of the movies, with the way that if you got those vertical lines and
it was terrific too. But if you want to argue that the set design isn't as good as even Return of the Jedi, just that trench warfare stuff makes the Death Star one of the best.
Well, yeah. Okay, so that's our top 3 environments. Hope you enjoyed that. We tried to have a little bit of fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. But just something a little different.
So to name mine again, number 1 I had Tatooine, number 2 I had Jakku, and number 3 I have Endor.
My number.
Number 1.
Oh, my number 1 was the Death Star.
I'm going to go down this time.
My number 2 was Coruscant, and then my number 3 was Tatooine.
All right. Well, let's know what you have to think about that.
What's your favorite Star Wars environment?
I'm kind of surprised neither of us had Hoth on there. But
it was one I was thinking of, but then, it's all snow.
The thing about Hoth is more about the walkers is what makes it impressive.
Yes.
Because that was the first time we saw the walkers, more than the actual environment itself.
Exactly. But I agree.
Anyway, all right, so let's get on to the big movie review.
The big movie review.
All right, it's time for some solo movie review. Let's caveat first. We're gonna start without any spoilers at all, and we'll warn you if we get into spoilers. But
you got to be quick because we'll say it fast and then jump right into it. Probably.
So, Solo, second kind of offshoot film in the Star Wars universe, directed by Ron Howard after
originally being
Christopher Lloyd, Phil
Lord,
and Christopher
Miller,
were the original directors of it, who you might know from the Lego Movie, amongst other things.
Yeah.
But,
and what? Also, 22 Jump Street.
21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street.
Yeah. And, written though by Lawrence Kasdan and Jonathan Kasdan, his son.
Yeah, and Lawrence Kasdan, who
one of the original
Empire is one of the top Star Wars movies that everybody agrees with. That is on the top of many people's lists, if not the top. So basically this tells the story of a young Han Solo. That's pretty much the plot synopsis of it. Don't really need to tell you much more. We can jump right into the review of it. So I think one of the main things people were worried about when they first started seeing the trailers for this was the casting. So Alden Ehrenreich plays young Han Solo, and you might remember him from the Coen Brothers movie Hail Caesar, which is kind of where he made his name. And so there was a lot of consternation about him.
Creatures, I believe, was like his earlier work.
Yeah,
the teen
the teen thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The teen thing. But I think most people.
Sure.
I think that's where he kind of his name was Hail Caesar. So there, there's a bunch of consternation about like why, who do you choose to play a young Han Solo, and can he fill that? I thought he performed admirably in the role, and I think the longer you're in the movie with him, the more he feels like Han Solo to me. What was your opinion on that?
No, I thought the casting was fine. I thought he did just a good job, and he didn't try to act like Harrison Ford, but he had his own sort of appeal as Han Solo. So I thought he did fine.
I think he wasn't as like, I guess, cocky or cocksure as Harrison Ford is in the role. But I mean, you're thinking about a younger person.
Where he was, his character was in his life. He might not need to be,
but he did have that certain charm, that roguish charm to him that I thought worked well. Another, the other role that is in here that we've seen before is Lando.
Right. And
he's played by Donald Glover in this version.
Right, and originally played by Billy D. Williams.
Yes. And in my opinion, I thought Donald Glover was great as Lando. I think he pulled it off tremendously.
And I think he was great too. And he actually did a little bit more of an impression of Lando.
But it wasn't a dead
No.
But it was more of an impression. And I think, and it worked great. And I love the fact that, and I don't know whether this was him or if it was in the script this way, but the fact that he calls Han, he calls him Han.
Yes.
Like that, that always kind of like, it was like, why is Lando always calling him Han? Everybody else calls him Han. They all know how to pronounce his name. But so they wrote that into the script. I don't know if that was that was part of the original script or not, but whoever did that needs to get some kudos for that.
Definitely,
I think.
For that attention to detail.
I'd like to talk about some of the other cast members. Well, and then, Chewbacca is another main character in this, and he's, I can't remember the guy's name that plays him. It's kind of, he was the same guy that's played him in the Last Jedi.
Right.
Played him in Last Jedi as well. I can't remember his name. But it's not Peter Mayhew anymore.
Right.
Peter Mayhew's gotten too old.
Yeah.
He's got some.
You couldn't be as. There's no way you could be as physical, especially being a young Chewie, right?
Yeah.
So how young can Chewie actually?
So like performance-wise, I mean, he's Chewie. He's
Chewie. Yeah.
But as character-wise, I think Chewie is kind of almost steals the show for this movie. Like he is. I think it kind of revolves around his relationship with Han is the main heart of the story.
I think, you can make a case for this being the most importance that Chewie has actually played in any of the movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Some other characters, Emilia Clarke is Kira, who plays Han Solo's love interest. We'll talk about that more post-spoiler.
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson is Beckett, who's kind of Han's mentor at the beginning, throughout the film, and then some other people we can talk about more of that as we talk about the story. But non-spoiler review before we get into it too much. What was your overall impression of Solo?
I was kind of disappointed. I'll be honest. And I'll talk about it in the spoiler part of what disappointed me, but it just did not, really generate that much excitement. And I'm a Star Wars fan. I mean, obviously, if people have listened to us before, they know how much we both love Star Wars.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same way. Honestly, I was a little disappointed in the film, not overtly disappointed in it, but just, I guess at the beginning when they first announced they were going to do this movie, I was kind of like, why do we have to tell stories about people we already know? Why don't we go out and explore the universe a little bit more? So I was not very high on it to begin with. But the more I started hearing about it, the more trailers I saw for it, the more I was getting excited for it. And then I heard like really good reviews coming out for the earlier screenings.
Right.
And it got me even more excited about it. So I think it was a progression of me getting a little too overexcited for it. Like if I would have stayed at the level when they first announced it, I might have liked it a little bit more.
Yeah, especially
because it's not a bad movie.
No, and it's not a bad movie.
It's a fun movie. Like I wouldn't, but it's not. To me, it's not a Star Wars movie.
No, it's not. Like, it doesn't rise to the level of the Star Wars that we're hoping for and expecting.
It just doesn't even feel like even original prequel trilogy level. It doesn't even like. I'm not going to say it's worse than that.
Okay.
I'm going to say. It just doesn't feel Star Wars.
It doesn't feel, exactly.
It feels like a movie
It's a movie. It's a movie.
Yeah. So, so
you can put that on the poster. It's a movie. CinemATL.
Martin Kelly of CinemATL says it's a movie.
I think that would be a good quote.
So before we're gonna talk a little bit of spoilers, but I mean, I guess what I would say before we get into total spoilers is that if I were ranking the films, this goes right above the prequels for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's below everything else that's put out.
I totally agree.
Okay, so let's talk about spoiler stuff.
All right, so it's spoiler time. Dun dun dun. Okay.
Spoiler. Big block letters up there. Spoiler. So what specifically disappointed you?
I think here's a couple of things. It's kind of a combination of things. First of all, this is billed as young Solo, right?
Uh-huh.
Young Solo, right? But this Solo is only a couple of years away from where we actually meet Han Solo in the original New Hope, right?
Yeah, I think they say it's like 10 years, though. That's what they said. But
it didn't seem like that far apart, honestly.
Its age difference isn't that much. Yeah,
right. And so that's one piece. But then also, I think this movie just had a little too much of like retread sort of scenarios, right? It's like we've seen exotic cantinas, right? We've seen that type of thing happen before, and then okay, here we go again. Here's another exotic cantina, and it's also like now cribbing from other movie series. Like for instance, one scene in it, and you knew it had to happen, but there's a scene in it where he's basically James Bond, right? Mm-hmm. He's given cash. First of all, it doesn't make any sense to give him cash when he owes hundreds of thousands of credits, right? But they still give him more cash to play in this crazy game, right? And it sounds like that's all James Bond stuff, you know what I mean? And so it's like it felt a little rehashed to me.
Mine wasn't so much that it felt rehashed to me. I wish I would have told more. I don't need to know everything. I don't need to know everything about his character. That's the kind of thing that bugs me, and that's kind of what bugged me about it before it was even announced. It's like, do I really need to know, how he did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and do I really need to know? I mean, there's certain things like questions I wasn't even asking. Like, how did he get the name Solo? Like,
right.
That was the stupidest thing to me. It was like how he got his name. It's like, you don't need to explain to me how something. That's just his name. You don't need to explain that to me.
No,
and things like that. But yeah, I just kind of. And then the other thing that disappointed me about it wasn't so much. It just didn't really feel like it ever came together for me. It just was a bunch of different scenes that kind of got compiled into a movie.
No, yeah.
More than anything.
And I never, and you're right about not caring about his past.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's really the problem here. It's like we love Han Solo anyway.
Yeah.
We don't really care how he got to be Han Solo, and that's probably the ultimate disappointment I'm sensing between you and I, at least. And if I'm honest, his past didn't really add up to Han Solo yet. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, he's not that. Well, that's.
And I get it.
Are they trying to set up a Solo 2?
Maybe they are. Maybe they are, but
what if it's a Solo 2? Is it a duo?
Solo 2.
Duo.
That sounds like a good one.
I think another thing that bugged me about it is I'm almost getting a little bit of Star Wars fatigue, honestly. Like, after going so long without having new Star Wars, to all of a sudden have...
Yeah, we've had 4.
And this one only 6 months after the last one, which... Yeah, I'm just kind of like, how many, it's like, it's not as special anymore. That's why I mean when I was talking about it doesn't feel like a Star Wars movie, even as much as the prequels did, because the prequels felt special.
Sure.
It felt like, hey, we don't know if we're going to have another one of these coming out anytime soon, so let's enjoy it, even if it sucks.
Sure. But we didn't know it sucked at the time. We kind of didn't realize it was that sucky at the time.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. I mean, for me, I didn't. I honestly didn't realize how sucky they were at the time.
I didn't. I never liked Phantom Menace. I didn't realize how bad Attack of the Clones was at the time. Attack of the Clones is my least favorite Star Wars movie now. So, but yeah. But anyway, going back to Solo. I just think building these franchises so with Marvel, I don't feel that fatigue. And it's because there's so many more stories that they can tell within a Marvel universe than they can tell within the Star Wars universe.
They got so many more characters that you...
There's more characters, but there's more... They're all different, right? Like Star Wars, exactly. Star Wars, you have to tell it, and it's got to be a space story. It's got to have droids. It's got to have all these things.
And here's one of the other problems is because we both really like Rogue One.
Yeah,
we both really like Rogue One, and Rogue One is a lot different than some of the other Star Wars movies, right? Because it's a war movie, right?
Yeah.
What's this movie really?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. That's not. It's just a bunch of Star Wars.
And
scenes.
when we talked about it, we thought, at the time, we were thinking how these separate stories were going to be different.
Yeah.
From the saga, right?
Yeah.
And we thought these kind of movies were going to be fun because it's Star Wars, but yet it's different, right? And this one's not different enough.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like with the Marvel movies, you can tell a story like where you have Winter Soldier, where it's more of like a political intrigue type movie, where you have a Ant-Man, where it's a little bit more of a comedy, or you got Spider-Man, where he's talking about high school, like almost John Hughes type things going on, right? With Star Wars, you are limited more than that, but even like you said, Rogue One was able to pull it off. Sure. But I also think Rogue One was also able to pull it off because they introduced new characters and weren't reliant on tying everything, even though it was like a major. The end is a major tie into the whole series.
Absolutely.
Solo needed to do more of that instead of just referencing stuff from the make this movie have some importance to it.
To itself, yeah.
And the only thing that really ties it into anything besides explaining where Han got his, or like how many capes Lando has, is they tie it in with the really obscure reference where Kira turns out to be working for Darth Maul. Out of all people,
who's supposed to be dead, right?
I don't watch the TV shows, but apparently in Clone Wars and Rebels, he's alive, and he's leading.
That was kind of, you know what? And I don't like. I'm not mad at them for that because I think Darth Maul is one of the people who, of the prequels, was intriguing and yet.
They wasted him as a character, right? Yeah. So that was kind of cool in a way, but it was also kind of like, wouldn't it be more meaningful to the people that are into Star Wars, the cinematic version of Star Wars, if it was, the Emperor or Vader or even Boba Fett or know what I mean? Tying her in something like that,
or Jabba.
Jabba. We know that Harrison Ford, but we know that Han's got a rivalry with Boba Fett. He knows who Boba Fett is, and in the series, like, what if he was like the guy behind this? That way you could really set up a Solo 2 duos with Boba Fett. It writes itself.
It's ironic. That's the next standalone, right? Is Boba Fett, right?
They didn't. They're not doing.
Oh, they're not doing that.
They took that off the table.
I think it's smart to take it off the table.
Yeah, I think they need to do something completely different.
I agree.
Even if they, when we talk about all the Star Wars environments, it's kind of funny that we're trying to come up with a top 3, and we're trying to come up with something a little bit different when we just chose environments. But there are a lot of really cool environments in the Star Wars universe, and you could tell a story based off of just one of those. Like, you could tell like a Western tale, like in Tatooine.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could tell. A tale of survival on Hoth. You could tell
a film noir at Coruscant, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be perfect. You know what I mean? That's a world we haven't explored a lot yet. You know what I mean?
I mean, especially not at a down level, a down low level.
They have the grimy underworld.
Oh man, that would be
Coruscant,
great, right?
That's the type of films that I would like to see them do in these spin-offs. And they even talk about doing a whole new trilogy. But I hope that whole new trilogy is completely separate from the Skywalker world. Like, tell me something complete. I don't even want to tell it like some far off remote portion of the galaxy where they don't even heard of the Empire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Give me that. And now they're even talking about that they're going to do a Star Wars TV show with Jon Favreau.
Yeah,
who's going to be running.
Ironic, Jon Favreau was in the film.
He plays one of the He's just a voice of one of the characters.
Yeah,
which is a cool character. Which that's another thing
cool.
that bugged me about Solo is they wasted some cool characters. Like they just introduced them just to kill them off, which is I think it was a very limiting factor for prequels because you have to kill them off, otherwise where are they later?
Why aren't they in New Hope or something?
Yeah, and it made sense in Rogue One because that was the defining part of the thing. They were doing this was a mission that they had to give their lives for. In this case, they were just killing them off left and right just to kill them off.
I did appreciate the one thing that they did with the droid in this picture. The droid became part of the Falcon, right?
Yeah.
And so that was kind of cool. And if you notice in the other films, they always refer to the Falcon as her, right?
Yeah.
She's doing this, she's doing that. She'll get us through. And so I think that was a nice little touch to it.
Let's talk about things we did like about it, though. I mean, because there is some good stuff in it.
Sure.
I really did enjoy the whole train sequence.
That was very
well done, very entertaining. I pretty much liked the movie when they were together as that, and once again, I was disappointed they killed those characters off. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of them in that kind of bandit.
Exactly. I think you needed more of Han, learning from Beckett and the crew, right?
Yeah.
Not just the one little thing that they do together. I agree. That was well done, though. That was really well done. I did like the Rio character, the Jon Favreau character. I liked the Val character. I thought they were good, and so the movie got off to a pretty good start in that regard.
I liked the introduction of Chewie. I thought that was well done.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I did. I don't know if I liked it.
I liked how they met. I don't know if I liked how Han got out of it by just happening to know the Wookiee language. But he does know his language. I get, and that goes back again to once again how much do you explain, how much do you not explain. I don't necessarily want to know how he knew the language, but now you're adding a new thing in.
Right. And I really liked when I really liked the robot rebellion on the place where they're getting the fuel. Right?
Yeah.
The what was it, a refinery or something?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I mean,
what was cool. But
one of the mission. Yeah, the mission they show up and the L3.
Yeah.
She inadvertently starts a robot rebellion, and of course takes a lot of pride in doing that. I thought that was a fun sequence.
Yeah, I also liked. I liked the beginning of the movie a lot more than I liked the end of the movie. Like I liked them. I liked the speeder chase and whatever I can't remember the world that he starts out on, but
I don't
whatever
remember
that one was, the shipyards where they're in the shipyards where they're
yeah.
building all the Empire stuff, and that was a cool sequence. I don't really buy like him working for that late slug alien lady or whatever, but
that was
the
weird.
rest of that I did like. The chase sequence, I thought it was well done. It shows how he's a good pilot. It sets up his relationship with Kira, which pays off later, which I did. I think their relationship, that was kind of a cool thing. I did like the fact that they just didn't kill her off, and they just made, and they, she has her own story, which, by the way, you don't need to tell us, Disney. Don't make a Kira story. I don't need to know how she became, recruited by.
Is that a?
No. I'm just saying.
Okay,
I'm talking about. I don't need to know the backstories of everybody.
Right.
That's my thing. It's like, let's stop with telling everybody's backstory. I don't need to know where the dice came from. I don't need to know.
Right.
I don't need. I mean, we do get to find out where he got his blaster from, which is Beckett.
No. Yeah.
And then the other thing that I've got to say, if there was one thing about this movie that I did really, really, really enjoy, is, and this is the ultimate spoiler, is at the end of the movie when he just shoots Beckett. Han shot first. And this corrects
finally
the special edition. It's like, yes, Han shot first.
That's absolutely.
That's the lesson he learned. That's like almost like the lesson of the film is
you better do it.
You better shoot
first.
So
exactly.
Screw you, special edition. That's one thing I got. And like I said, overall, I enjoyed the movie. Like I would give it probably like a B- grade.
Yeah, I mean, I totally.
As like a regular movie, like maybe even a B. But like as a Star Wars movie, it kind of fails.
It falters as a Star Wars movie. Otherwise, it's a fun movie, perfectly good.
Yeah,
perfectly fine.
Anything else?
No, I think we covered a lot of ground on that. And, I do think we did go a little over, so we can't do the technique topic.
We went quite a bit over. So. The technique topic was going to be great, though. It's going to be super.
So we'll hold out for another episode down the line.
I guess I shouldn't.
But we won't say what it is.
Okay. I don't want to overblow it.
That's right. Keep it under wraps.
All right. Well, okay. I guess it's time for the movie game.
Guess so.
All right. All right. You ready to beat me at the movie game?
I hope that you're going to put up a fight. Let's do it. Let's have a good session.
So those of you that haven't experienced the wonder that is the movie game, basically the game it's a movie chain. Mm-hmm. Basically, if I name a movie, Martin will have to name an actor or actress that was in that movie, and then I will have to name another movie that actor or actress was in, and then keeps going, so on, until one of us can't name.
Somebody was playing the movie game recently, and I'm blanking at this moment exactly what context it was, but I was shocked someone else knew the movie game, which was awesome.
Well, we're trendsetters, probably. It's probably us.
Maybe.
It's probably all us. Yeah, so that's pretty much the rules. So we basically play 2 rounds. Well, normally it's 2 rounds. It's best of 3. Normally it's only 2 rounds because Martin smokes me in 2 rounds. But that's pretty much the rules, except for you can't name a movie or actor twice within the same chain, although you can name sequels.
Right.
So that is the gist of it.
Okay.
And so Martin is returning champion. Probably he's got more finals appearances than LeBron James in a row.
Yeah, but unlike LeBron, I win
most of the time.
I win more than he does.
All right. Well,
sorry,
we'll
LeBron.
We'll see.
But it's true.
Can I pull the upset this time? Okay. All right. So let me get IMDb up here so we can prove that Martin's not cheating on anything. Just so we can check our answers if need be. Okay, so Martin, why don't you start since you were trying
Sure. Let's do Avengers Infinity War.
There's not a lot of characters in that movie. There's not a lot of actors in that movie.
There's not? Okay.
Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. How about Deadpool 2?
Electric Boogaloo. I'm just going to go with obvious. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. How about Buying the Cow?
I've never even heard of that movie, let alone seen that movie. I'm going to take a wild guess, and say Bill Pullman.
No, sorry.
Buying the Cow, huh?
Yep.
Wow. We got IMDb that one there.
Yeah. Make sure Bill Pullman's not in it, which I don't think he is.
I'm pretty sure Bill Pullman's not in it.
There's some other people you do know that are in it.
Filmed in 2002. Jerry O'Connell was in it.
Yeah.
Bill Bellamy, Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, it's not a bad
Annabeth
cast.
Gish, Ron Livingston. Wow.
It's actually the first time I ever saw Ryan Reynolds, and I knew from that he was really funny and gonna go places, actually. But yeah, I mean, you should have seen that movie. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, okay. All right. So starting over. So Martin gets 1 round in. I'm gonna start with, let's see, Molly's Game. Molly's Game. Idris Elba.
The Dark Tower.
Ooh, goodness. I'm gonna have to go with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'll go Dallas Buyers Club.
Ooh, okay. Jared Leto.
Fight Club.
Okay, Fight Club. Meatloaf.
Oh man. Oh, Tenacious D, Pick of Destiny.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Jack Black.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Okay. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. Man. Central Intelligence.
Okay. This is great. Okay. Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. What was that movie called? No.
I know a couple you could stump me on, but hopefully you don't.
No. There's one that I want to name, but I can't remember the name of it now. I'm drawing blanks. I'm just gonna go with Fast and Furious, whichever the latest one was.
Fate of the Furious?
Fate of the Furious.
Okay. All right.
I wanted to say the sequel to Get Shorty. What was the name of it?
Oh, yeah.
Be Cool.
Be Cool, yeah.
Never mind. All right. We'll do Fate of the Furious.
Fate of the Furious. How about Tyrese?
Oh, man.
Gibson.
Transformers.
The original?
The original.
Okay. Bernie Mac?
Bernie Mac. Mr. 3000.
Ooh, see, this is a good one because I'm probably not gonna know anybody in that one, unless Larry Miller's in it.
Larry Miller. I don't know. Let's check.
I mean, I'm just saying he's the type who would be in that type of
yes,
movie, right?
he would be. That's true.
But I don't even recall seeing that movie actually.
I did see the movie, but I'm glad you didn't challenge me, because if you would have challenged me, I would have been back. Angela Bassett, Michael Rispoli, Larry. I don't see Larry Miller in here anyway.
Probably not. It just seems like he would be in that type of movie.
Yeah. No.
No. Okay, you got that one then.
I got one. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So now, yep, your turn to bring up what's tied 1-1.
All right. Let me go with Inception.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, The Drop.
No clue. Challenge.
James Gandolfini.
Okay. I believe you.
You need to see The Drop.
I've never heard of it, actually.
It's a fantastic movie.
Well, there you go, audience out there. The Drop. And what was the other one? The cow one? Buying the Cow.
Now, I mean, it's not a fantastic movie,
Okay.
but it is like, it's a cool movie for its day. And Ryan Reynolds is a standout in that movie. So.
And Mr. 3000, I don't recommend.
Because it is the kind of movie that Larry Miller would have been in.
Yes. Although Larry Miller was
I'm just kidding.
Larry Miller was in 10 Things I Hate About You, and that's one of my favorite.
Yes,
like,
he was great in that,
rom-coms,
and he was good in Pretty Woman. So yeah.
But it would be the kind of movie. All right, so that's it. At least I got 2-1. At least it was a little competitive this time. So Martin wins again. But yeah, that's it for our podcast this month.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and tell your friends, please, and
Tell your
share
friends.
it. Yeah.
Share and tell us what's going on.
Yeah,
we'd like to do a little more.
Yeah.
And if you have something you're working on, let us know, and we'll try to. If you get us to us early enough, we can
exactly. We need to know ahead of
in
time, so let us know. Tweet us and Facebook, CinemATL, and all that jazz.
Yeah, and Messenger, Pigeon, and
yeah, exactly.
semaphore code, smoke signals. And once again, we want to thank Eureka Failure for providing the music for us. And
Absolutely.
they've got a new album out. If you want to check it out, called Trapper Keeper. It's available on iTunes and other places where you find digital music.
Awesome.
And they should have some shows coming up around the local Atlanta area if you are in the area.
Cool.
And that's about it.
That's it.
So we'll see you again next month, hopefully earlier in the month.
Yes.
We'll
because this is likely not to come out in May.
It might if I do my editing skills really quickly. I've got 1 day to do it.
Cool.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see. Can he do it? This is the...
I know he can, but will it happen?
Will I stay up late tonight? All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.